Hello, friends and neighbors. Welcome to Living Beautifully. I am about to go out into the garden, but before I wanted to show you guys the result of some of our preservation of our harvest. So, first we'll start with all of our tomato products. So, we've got some canned diced tomatoes here on the sides. I just canned those raw. Then we have some tomato sauce, and for that you can use it for like spaghetti sauce or marinara sauce. I kind of stewed the tomatoes and then ran them through a food mill before I pressure canned them. I also took some of our cherry tomatoes and dehydrated those for like some sun-dried tomatoes. We've already gone through a couple jars of this. And then some of the dehydrated tomatoes I turned into tomato powder. So that is how we've been using some of our tomato harvest. And then our onions finished curing, and I feel like they've turned out really, really good. They cured really well. You can hear the little papery skins on there. And then our potatoes, they finished curing as well and are in their final home. And we've been going through these like crazy. We're probably 60-70% of the way through with those. So that's just some of the end products of all of our labor. So I don't plan on being out here long. It's like 10:30, 11, and it's already just ridiculously hot. But because it's getting so hot, the celery and the carrots are pretty much good as goners. So I need to get those harvested so they don't bolt and go bad and not be good for eating. In the same way that I am feeling the heat, the garden is feeling the heat as well. So you can see these tomato plants, they are, definitely succumbing to some of the disease. I'm hoping that we'll at least have enough time for the fruit to ripen before they completely succumb. So you can continue to watch while I show you how the peppers and tomatoes are doing, but I wanted to cut in right here and discuss season transitions, because this was something that was really difficult for me when I first started gardening, and it still is. It's not something that I've mastered, but and you may look at those tomatoes and say, well, they're still fruiting. They still look kind of okay. You could keep those plants in and still try to get some harvest off of them. You've worked so hard and put so much into them, and that would be an option. But the more productive and efficient option is to plant plants in your garden, let them peak, and once their season is over, to let something else take over that is more suited for the time of the year that you're in. So I'm going to get more harvest and production if I take these tomatoes out and replace them with something that is more heat loving and that is going to be able to survive the temperatures that we are about to be put through. And if you look right here, I'll just show you, this is how my garden looks right now, end of June, beginning of July. These were my spring crops, my warm season crops, but now I'm starting to transition those over to crops that are going to be more tolerant of the heat, and in just a couple of weeks it's going to look more like this. I'm going to replace that corn with some black-eyed peas. I'm going to try to get a short kind of turnaround on some green beans. I'm keeping my peppers in because those are heat loving and those will kind of come back around in the fall. But my point is that if I lean into the season that I am in the year, I'm going to be able to have more production in my garden. And that's true in gardening and in life too. You have to recognize the season and adjust accordingly. Okay, back to the garden tour. Asian long beans are still doing okay. I'm probably going to take these out in the near future and replant some different types of beans. And then our melons are starting to come in. I did yesterday, we harvested 2 of these cantaloupe, and then we have some other cantaloupe here throughout the bed that are on their way to being mature. And then over here, we've got some watermelon that I need to get up off those rocks. And then I have another one over here. Oh goodness, if I can navigate through all this. And then right here, we have another watermelon that is starting to size up. Here we've got all of our lima beans, which these pods are drying out nicely. And then it looks like it's going to try to put on one more flush of pods before it completely dies out. So hopefully we'll get a good amount of lima beans. Our squash are still producing some fruit. You can see a lot right there if it'll go into focus. But I need to remove some squash vine borer eggs that I did see this morning. And then I don't know if you can see here, this little highway of ants that I'm going to have to deal with because they are farming aphids onto my beans. So I need to spray some more insecticidal soap on those. And then our sunflower finally flowered. I don't know if I got any video of it in its full glory because you can see it's kind of starting to shrivel up at this point, but it was beautiful and glorious. And you can see some of the side flowers that it has put off. So I'm hoping that it will be able to fully mature and that we'll get some sunflower seeds. Here you can see I pulled out all the corn and I'm going to be replacing that with cowpeas in the next few days. Well, enough of my yapping. Let me get to work pulling the celery and carrots so I can get out of this heat. Then you can see our star of the hour, our celery. This is what we're going to be harvesting today. All right, let's go ahead and get this first stalk. Just gonna cut it with my 40 knife. And I think that is a nice looking stalk of celery, or bunch of celery. That's a nice looking bunch of celery, if I may say so myself. I think, so I harvested the 3 on the outside. But I think I harvested the 3 celery stalks that were on the outer edges of the bed. I think I'm going to try to leave the ones in the middle for one more week. I mean, it's There's not nearly as much foliage on the tomatoes as there had been in the past, but they still do shade them a little bit. I think I'm going to try to let them last maybe one more week. We'll see how they do. All right, let's go to the next bed. See, like this one that's kind of more out in the sun, you can see that the leaves are starting to yellow, and it's not very happy with life. Oh my goodness, but the stalks. These are some nice, big, beautiful stalks. Ugh. That looks good. Man, look at that. Those are almost store-bought size. Very happy with that. And then I'm going to do the same thing as the other bed. I think I just did, yeah, I did 3 on the outside. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 left on the inner portion. And I'm going to leave those. All right, so let's take a look at what we got. So this is exactly half of our celery harvest. We harvested 8 stalks, and there are 8 stalks that are still in the ground that I'm going to try to see if they can last for one more week in the Texas heat. So with this much celery, most people's next question is, how are you going to store all of it? And that's part of the reason why I wanted to keep part of it in the ground, is because I don't really know what I'm going to do to preserve it. This is my first year growing celery, and so I'm probably going to try several different ways of preservation with these stalks. Some of it I'll probably blanch and freeze. Some of it obviously I'll keep fresh. The 3 ways that I've seen as far as preserving it fresh is wrapping in foil, cutting the stalks, sticking them in like a cup of water, and then also like getting a shallow dish and submerging it in water. So I'll probably try all 3 of those and see which one works the best or keeps the longest. And then I already said blanch and freeze some of them. I'll probably dehydrate some of them. I will probably freeze dry some of them. Yeah, I'm going to be trying multiple different ways of preservation to see the way that I like best. So, and I will let you know which one I prefer. But let me get these inside. All right, we're going to see how this goes, harvesting these under the shade cloth. Oh, it looks like they're mostly on the other side. My camera keeps on turning off. I don't know if it's getting overheated or what, but it keeps on stopping the recording without me asking. Ooh, now this is a pretty one. Oh, so this is definitely my best and prettiest carrot so far. Here's a few more good ones. Now that is a carrot. First pull. And then these. there's those. You see this one's split. I can't remember if that's a sign of disease or a sign that I waited too long to harvest it. That's a pretty one. This little section had some nice sized ones. Look at that. And that one. And that one. Last little bit of carrots and a forgotten onion. All right, let me show you what we got. Show you what we got. All right. So there's our carrots. Over here, I kind of discarded the tops as well as any carrots that I just felt were smaller than what I wanted to deal with. So here is our final harvest. Get these inside. Well, I'll probably spray them off here and then get them inside, get them cleaned. All right. As far as what I have plans left, I'm really just going to go through, like I saw the some squash vine borer eggs. I'm going to remove those. This evening I'll water. And really, I think that's about it. I was going to spray. I probably will spray this evening. Yeah. I'll remove the squash vine borer eggs. And then this evening I will water and spray. And then tomorrow I'm going to be planting out my cowpeas. I will probably replant some bush beans. What else? I think that's it. Well, anyway, that is all I have for you guys today. Thanks for hanging out with me in the garden. And until next time, remember, even if you can't grow something in the ground, you can always cultivate something good in your life and in the lives of those around you. Take care, guys. It's a tomato rainbow.